What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about how shows like HGTV and $1 Million Listing could negatively impact your financial future by A, giving you the misimpression of what real estate really is about, and B, what you should focus on when it comes to investing in real estate. You'll see the difference of those two things and the 5 points we're going to get into right now. The first problem with sizzle hot TV shows like HGTV and $1 Million Listing and all the do-it-yourself channels is we spend money on stuff we don't need. We think this stuff is going to make us happier. Really cool furniture from Restoration Hardware or entertainment equipment or whatever. But we forget two very important factors. The very first thing that we forget is this stuff has to be maintained. We have to change filters. We have to chlorinate things. We have to condition leather furniture. And surprisingly, the more expensive stuff is, the more complicated it becomes, the more stressful it is, and the more of a time sink it is. So all of a sudden we look, it's not just the cost of actually buying something, which is an opportunity cost, because now you're spending money that you could otherwise be investing into stocks, bonds, real estate, or whatever it is you invest in. But now you're also investing all this extra time for junk that you didn't need. You had to shop for furniture, you had to get it delivered, you had to assemble furniture. I mean, and this isn't to say that you shouldn't have furniture, but when we watch these TV shows, we get so inspired by, I want to live the lifestyle of that 30-second sizzle reel. I want to have that cool furniture and that farmhouse look. In reality, what is that doing for you from an investment point of view? It is a double-folded distraction that is costing you money. Number two, the inspiration to start projects that really won't make you money. We get so inspired when we see like, oh, I can have a planter garden, or I can have chickens that'll produce eggs, and like, I'm gonna grow my own tomatoes, I'm gonna grow my own peppers, I'm gonna get a pallet and use that to design my house. And these things are fine if you want a hobby. If you want a hobby, it's totally fine. But realistically, what do we forget about projects? We forget that, again, they take a lot more time and money than we actually think they will when we watch it on a TV show, or we watch a do-it-yourself YouTube video where it's like, whoa, they did that so fast. And then we forget that oftentimes people doing these projects have the 10,000 hours of mastery to where they can avoid all of these little problems that we don't even know yet are going to come up. And then so what happens with the vast majority of projects we as a society start? We don't finish them. Instead, they increase our frustration, they increase our spend, and ultimately we're left with a worse off place. Had we just taken the money and invested it, we would have been in a better place. So we've talked about stuff we don't need. We've talked about projects that we don't need to start. What's number three? Well, the number three thing that is a problem with these TV shows is an unrealistic time frame expectation. That is, we see these shows like inspection shows or flipper shows where it's like, whoa, look at all this remodeling that happened in 30 minutes. Minus TV commercials, they did all of this within 20 minutes.
So we did all new cabinets on this side, a new island with a stainless top that Marla had wanted, and we brought in storage, all new cabinets on this side as well. So
we have a gas range.
Yet we don't realize that construction is such a pain in the butt when it comes to real estate, mostly thanks to timing. The amount of time and planning and corrections and permitting that we have to go through to actually make these projects come to fruition is absolutely unbelievable. But what is something that we don't see on TV shows is projects can look great on camera, but when you're in person, you start realizing, things aren't cocked, things are crooked, things haven't been completely finished yet. So much of what we can see of a sort of reveal project could very well still be a 50% done project, because it's easy to throw down flooring and to paint a room and make it look finished. But the detail that doesn't show up off camera is what takes forever to finish. So the unrealistic time frame expectations that are set by these shows cost us money, because what do? They make us go into a project. They make us get into a flip and we're like, oh, I can do this flip within 30 days. No, you can't. The only way you're doing a flip within 30 days is if you're cutting corners left and right. That's the only way you can cosmetically get it done fast, unless you had a whole army that was taking care of a flip. Most realistic flips take 3 to 6 months to complete and actually be ready for sale and ready for inspection. We don't see or hear about that on TV shows. Bad precedent to set. Number 4, the scripted negotiations are what we don't know about. Literally all of the real estate negotiations and contract negotiations with contractors have already happened. And if you think that those are actual real negotiations,
I like your whole casual approach. Like your clients don't care if they get the house or not. We both know they want the house.
How about 6'6"?
You're an idiot. Guess what? My counter to you is 6,995. Full ask. Look at that. We're back where we started. Good luck finding another property at this price.
And my counter is go f yourself.
You don't know reality TV. And what's unfortunate about that is it totally forgets that construction and real estate are relationship style businesses. People don't go in and negotiate like they do on TV. The people that try to negotiate like that end up with burned bridges and very poor relationships. There's so much to communication that we don't learn about from reality TV or TV shows in general. That's why I have an entire course dedicated to real estate investing, and a huge part of it is helping you learn how to communicate and negotiate with contractors, real estate agents, lenders, so that not only are you getting a good deal now, but you're getting a good deal when you use these companies again in the future, and you're not getting ripped off in places that you don't know about. Because folks, there's so much to construction. There's so much to real estate. Like water leaks right in the middle of your renovation that it's impossible to negotiate the way these TV shows demonstrate negotiations. It must be this, otherwise I'm walking. Like these hard closes, very rare. They worked very well in the 70s and 80s where it was common to hard close and hard sell people to buy a car or contract or high ticket closing. No, negotiations today are completely different. Negotiations today are about people wanting to do business with you and you wanting to do business with them to evaluate a win-win strategy for negotiating. So again, details to an immense amount of knowledge in the real estate investing course, link in the description below. The real estate investment course has actually been so useful for people that I get messages on Instagram like this where people are like, oh my gosh, Kevin, you made me realize that real estate actually isn't as complicated as it is. I just had the wrong impression that, well, first of all, reality TV shows made me think it was really easy, but then when I started looking into it, I got overwhelmed and fearful, and Kevin's actually giving me the no fluff, real way that real estate actually works and the real way you can really invest in real estate. So big shout out for this person that reached out on Instagram just to share their experience of being fearful of real estate and now controlling a triplex. They are on the road to wealth through real estate. Let's get to point number 5. Number 5, folks, construction is a nightmare. Like literally the most unexpected things will come at you in construction, and it's impossible to predict what's going to happen when you get into a project. I mean, we look at house wrap, we look at new windows, we look at upgrading appliances and fixtures and finishes, and we think, oh, that's fun. I get to pick the model of air conditioner. I get to pick which model of door I want. Ooh, I get to pick flooring. Well, guess what? It all becomes really overwhelming and stressful to make all of the decisions and make them in the correct time frame, in the correct order. That's probably the most important part, is aligning it all and coordinating it all so that one decision doesn't destroy 5 other decisions that other vendors have to do or make. And this is another thing that our famed reality shows won't tell us about. For example, all this drywall was just refinished, but guess what wasn't done? The light fixtures weren't picked out yet. So what happens? We have to take the light fixtures off now and then refinish the drywall again. Look at this. We still have the acoustic ceiling under the light fixture. Now we go to pick a new one. Say the light fixture is smaller. What happens? We got to re-drywall. So when things are done in construction out of order, this not being a very big deal. This is very common. But construction itself has so many pitfalls and nightmares, which is another massive part of the real estate investment course, again, link below, that going in with some extra knowledge would save you thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And unfortunately, the reality TV shows, HGTVs, the fixer-upper shows, teach you none of this. All they teach you is what you really want to see, which is, oh, that flooring's so beautiful. I want to be able to pick flooring one day. I want to be able to pick wall paint because I don't like this, and I want to be able to go get some color samples and pick out baby girl colors or baby boy colors, when in reality, after you've gone through like hundreds of these samples, because none of the samples ever seem to look like they do on the sample paper, they look totally different on the wall, all of a sudden it's like, this sucks, this is endless. So folks, what's a recap for us? Well, number one, don't buy stuff you don't need that's gonna end up using, I almost fell, a lot more maintenance or needing a lot more maintenance than you really think the stuff is going to need. You think it's gonna look cool, but it ain't, because you're gonna have to maintain it, it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take you away from investing in real estate, which is really what creates wealth. Guess what stuff you don't need doesn't do? Create wealth. It takes your ability to create wealth away. Then, be careful starting all of these do-it-yourself projects. They take a lot more time and they're a lot harder than they appear. Number three, everything takes a lot longer than it appears, especially on a TV show. And all those negotiations where you think, wow, I'm gonna watch these shows, I'm gonna be Josh Altman on $1 Million Listing, whom I, support, I love him. But come on, all those negotiations are scripted. So don't pretend to be like that in real life, because it's not gonna get you very far. And folks, number five, construction sucks. So before you get into all these projects thinking that, oh yeah, construction's gonna be fun, be careful. It's a lot tougher than it may appear.
My favorite thing to do with spaces is really make each room work for the family and their needs. With this particular house, the living room was pretty tight and the seating options were limited. So originally there were 2 closets here. What we ended up doing was